Clowns aren't supposed to be terrifying, but these true stories say otherwise. From eerie red noses to machete-wielding lunatics lurking in the woods to Knight's tales reveal a darkness behind the grease paint. These aren't urban legends, they're real encounters. Watch till the end if you dare to laugh in the dark. Story number 1. You ever get that feeling like someone's watching you, but you can't prove it? Now, imagine you're 13, it's almost midnight, and the only thing standing between you and your house is half a mile of pitch-black forest. No one's around, no streetlights, no signal, just the eerie creak of the trees and footsteps that aren't yours. But here's the real kicker. The person following you isn't just anyone, it's a clown, a real one, face painted white, lips drawn in an exaggerated red smile, and he knows your name. Stick around, because what started as an innocent trip to a carnival turned into the most bone-chilling night of my life, one I barely escaped from. And what I saw that night, I've never told anyone until now. I had just turned 13, that strange age where you're old enough to think you know the world, but still young enough to be unaware of how quickly it can twist on you. We lived in a quiet Midwestern town called Rensselaer, a place where neighbors knew each other by name and kids still played outside until the sun dipped below the trees. Our house sat on a cul-de-sac at the edge of a dense patch of woods that led to a community park. It wasn't exactly isolated, but once night fell, the woods could feel like a portal to somewhere darker. And right across the street was a marshy drainage field that locals called the Sump, a mucky, mosquito-ridden pit that sat unused for decades. That weekend, the town was buzzing about a traveling carnival setting up shop at Park Ridge Field, just beyond those woods. It wasn't a huge event, more like a pop-up fair with some rides, games, and food trucks, but in a town like ours, that was more excitement than we got all summer. My parents were laid back, especially my mom. She always encouraged independence. "You want to check it out?" she said over her shoulder while folding laundry. "Just be smart. Take the flashlight." And I did. It was an old metal flashlight with a barely functioning bulb, but it worked well enough to guide me through the tree line. The forest was silent aside from the occasional hoot of an owl or the snap of a twig beneath my sneakers. I eventually reached the rusted fence separating the woods from the park and climbed over. On the other side, bright lights illuminated a world that felt completely different from the one I'd just come from. The carnival was alive, Ferris wheel spinning, booths flashing neon signs, music echoing faintly through the night air. It was late, the crowds had thinned, that strange lull where the excitement dies down and everything feels just slightly off. I wandered toward a red and white striped tent at the far end of the field. Few people were slipping inside, and I followed out of curiosity. Inside were about 20 folding chairs, a makeshift stage, and 3 clowns performing under harsh overhead lighting. One balanced on a unicycle, another juggled colored pins, and the third was dancing erratically, like a puppet with its strings tangled. That third clown noticed me. His face was painted into a permanent smile, but his eyes, they weren't smiling at all. As if locked in on me, he danced closer, then slowly extended a gloved hand and wagged his finger. It wasn't a friendly wave, it was a summons. I froze. Something deep inside me screamed, "Don't go near him." So I turned and walked out, fast. Back among the booths, I spotted a kid I vaguely knew from school, Derek, and we played ring toss and talked about video games for a bit. The night wound down, and soon the carnival lights began shutting off, one by one. Music faded, the smell of funnel cake and hot dogs disappeared into the cool night air. Later, I said to Derek, and made my way back toward the woods alone. Just as I reached the edge, I heard a voice behind me. "You forgot the best part of the show." I turned around. Standing under a flickering street lamp was the clown from the tent, the same one who had tried to lure me in. His costume was faded, and his gloves were now dirty. He had no props, no makeup kit, just that grotesque painted smile and 2 wide, shining eyes. "Wanna see the backstage?" he asked, voice hollow and raspy, like it hadn't been used in years. My stomach dropped. "No, I'm good," I said, turning back to the trees, not even trying to hide the panic in my voice. He didn't follow, at least not immediately, but I could feel him watching. I didn't dare run, not yet. Instead, I walked, checking over my shoulder every few steps. He just stood there, half in the light, half in shadow, unmoving. It wasn't until I was out of sight that I started to jog. The woods felt different now. What had seemed calm and quiet earlier now pressed in on me, thick and tense. Every sound was amplified, branches creaking, leaves crunching, my own breath becoming louder, faster. I was about halfway through when I heard it again. That voice. "Don't you want to see something really fun?" I froze. The flashlight beam trembled as I raised it, sweeping it through the trees until it caught something. White makeup and red lips. He was there, inside the woods, not behind me at the carnival, not under the lights, here, in the pitch black trees. And he was walking toward me. I did the only thing I could think of. I hurled the flashlight at him. It clattered against a tree, the light spinning wildly, catching a glimpse of his twisted smile. Then I ran. I didn't look back. I sprinted as hard as I could, dodging low branches, slipping on damp leaves. I could hear his footsteps, heavy, chaotic, getting closer. I ran until the trees began to thin. The glow of the streetlights on our block came into view. That was the moment I heard the footsteps stop. Silence. When I finally stumbled into my driveway, lungs burning, I collapsed onto the front porch. My mom opened the door a moment later. "Are you okay?" she asked. "Yeah," I gasped, "just ran the whole way back." She smiles and ruffled my hair. "At least you're getting some exercise." I didn't sleep that night. I stayed up staring at the woods through my window, flashlight replaced with a baseball bat. The clown never showed up again. Not in the woods, not at school, not anywhere. I checked the paper the next morning, but there was no mention of a clown show at all. No tent, no names, no witnesses. Just a single sentence. Traveling Carnival leaves Rentsfield after one night appearance. It was like it had never been there. A week later, I tried asking around about the performers, casually, like I was doing a school project. But no one remembered the clowns, not even Derek, who swore he never saw me that night. It was like I'd imagined the whole thing, but I didn't. I know what I saw, and I still have the torn cuff of a clown glove I found caught on a branch the next morning. That's all I have left of that night. That, and the knowledge that whatever followed me into those woods might still be out there, waiting for the next curious kid to wander too close to the wrong tent. If you liked this story, do not forget to hit the like button. It lets the algorithm know you survived the scare. And if you've ever had a strange encounter like this, or something even weirder, drop your story in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe to DarkCresset for more real, eerie stories every week. And remember, just because the carnival packs up doesn't mean they leave. Stay safe, stay in the light, and if someone in face paint waves you over, run.
Do you ever feel like something is watching you, even when you're sure you're alone? What if the thing watching you isn't human, and it doesn't just want to scare you, but wants to get closer? Tonight, we're diving into one of the most unsettling encounters ever submitted. It starts off like an ordinary night, a local fair, a quiet walk home, and the kind of chill you feel only when someone's eyes are burning into your back. But by the end, you'll be questioning every time you've walked home alone, wondering if something was hiding, just out of sight. This is the story of the silent clown, and trust me, once you hear what happened, you'll never look at fairs, bushes, or even your own driveway the same way again. So grab your headphones, turn the lights down low, and whatever you do, don't look out the window. I've never liked clowns, not even as a kid. Something about the painted-on smiles, the squeaky shoes, the fake laughter, it always felt like a mask hiding something way darker underneath. My parents used to brush it off, say it was just a phase, but they didn't see what I saw when I was 5, That first clown at the Harvest Hills Festival who got too close, whose face cracked when he smiled, like it was straining against his own skin. By the time I turned 15, I thought I'd grown out of it. That fall, my parents went on a week-long cruise, leaving me home in Cedar Bend, a sleepy little town in the Midwest. My older sister was at her boyfriend's place. My brother, 2 years older than me, was out with his friends. That Tuesday night in early November, I had the whole house to myself. It was one of those nights that feels too quiet. No wind, no traffic, just that dead calm where your ears start ringing because there's nothing else to hear. My friend Devin, everyone called him D, texted me around 6 p.m. "Fair's in town, couple blocks from you, wanna go?" I hesitated. Fairs meant clowns, but staying home alone wasn't appealing either, so I told him to come over. The fair had popped up overnight in the old abandoned lot across from the municipal building. We walked there just after sunset, jackets zipped up against the cold, the sky bleeding a deep purple as we stepped onto the cracked pavement littered with popcorn and puddles. It had the usual setup: cheap rides spinning on rusty gears, booths with overpriced games, food carts blasting distorted music. There were maybe 20 people there, mostly families with toddlers or high schoolers skipping homework. We hit the ring toss, grabbed some corn dogs, and cracked jokes about how sketchy everything felt. Then we saw him. A clown. He wasn't performing or juggling or shouting jokes. He was just there, standing near the tilt-a-whirl. No balloons, no props, no sound. He wore a faded purple and white jumpsuit and a mask, not face paint, a full rubber clown mask with an exaggerated smile and oversized black holes for eyes. He didn't speak, just stood there. Then he began doing slow, exaggerated gestures, tilting his head, waving his fingers in slow motion. Not playful, not funny, more like mimicking life, like someone trying to act human but not quite getting it right. Every few seconds, he'd shift a little closer. At first, we laughed it off. Dee gave him a quick pat on the shoulder and said, "Creepy, dude." We walked away, trying not to look back, but I could feel him watching us. My skin prickled and every hair on the back of my neck stood on end. "That wasn't just creepy," Dee muttered once we'd left the fairgrounds. "That was straight up horror movie weird." I nodded, pulling my hood up tighter. We were about 4 blocks from my house, strolling down Maple Hollow Lane. The streetlights flickered as we passed, casting long, jagged shadows that twitched like they were alive. Then we heard it. Footsteps. We spun around. No one. We kept walking. More footsteps. We stopped. Nothing behind us. This happened 3 times before Dee finally said, "Nah, I'm not into this. I'm heading home." I grabbed his arm. "Please, just come to my place. Something's not right. I'm probably being paranoid, but..." He looked at me for a moment, then nodded. We reached my place a few minutes later. The porch light was off. The street was dead silent. I pulled out my keys, 3 on the chain, and fumbled in the dark, trying to find the right one. Dee stood next to me, breathing fast. "Yo," he said, tapping my arm. "Don't look fast. Just turn slowly." I froze, then turned.
There, crouched in the bushes next to my neighbor's house, was the clown. He wasn't pretending now. No slow motion waves, no exaggerated smiles. He was crouched, still, staring directly at us, like a predator waiting to strike. When he saw that we noticed him, he stood up, way taller than I remembered, and started walking straight toward us. My hands were shaking. I dropped the keys, grabbed them, tried the first one, wrong. Second, wrong. Third, click. We slammed the door behind us and locked it. Inside, the silence was louder than ever. I called my parents. My mom picked up immediately, her voice distant on speaker from the cruise ship. I told her everything. She didn't laugh, just said, "Get upstairs, lock the doors, arm yourselves if you have to. Don't open the door for anyone." Dee and I ran upstairs and into my little brother's room. From there, we had a clear view of the driveway through the front window. And that's when we saw him. The clown was standing dead center in the driveway, not moving, just looking up, straight at us.
We ducked down, shut the blinds, sat against the wall whispering back and forth in panicked gasps. Every floorboard creak made us jump. Every shadow from the trees outside looked like a figure inching closer. 10 minutes passed, then 20. We peeked outside. He was gone. But was he? I couldn't sleep that night. Every noise felt like him sneaking around. Every shadow seemed shaped like that rubber mask. The next morning, Dee left early. We walked the yard, no sign of anything. But the neighbors' bushes, they were crushed flat. And on our porch, right next to the door, was a balloon. White, untied, still partially inflated. I tried to convince myself it was all some prank, that maybe someone at the fair got a kick out of scaring teens. But no one else reported seeing that clown. And a week later, a flyer went up at the grocery store. Missing, Lucas Penner, age 23, last seen walking home from Maple Hollow Lane after attending the town fair. No one connected the dots, but I did. Lucas lived 3 blocks from me. I still live in Cedar Bend. The fair comes every November. I've never gone back. But last year, I was walking home from school and saw something that made me freeze in my tracks. In the empty lot where the fair always sets up, someone had drawn a smiley face on the pavement, in chalk. A wide, toothy grin, no eyes. And under it, the words, "See you again soon." So, what do you think that clown was? A deranged man? Something not human? Could it be that Lucas Penner wasn't the first or the last to be followed home? Drop your theories in the comments. I'll be reading every single one. And if you've ever had a creepy fair encounter or felt like you were being followed, send it in. It might just be the next story we bring to life on this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because in next story, we're diving into something even darker. Make sure, lock your doors, close your blinds, and whatever you do, if you see a clown just standing there, don't look away. They say the woods are silent after dark, but what if something's already waiting in that silence? Something in a clown suit? What I saw on that lonely road still haunts me, and I swear I wasn't the first person he followed, or the last. You ever hear laughter where there shouldn't be any? The kind of laugh that doesn't come from amusement, but from something sinister, something that enjoys watching you squirm. That laugh still rings in my ears. I haven't slept right since that summer. I haven't walked alone since either. I'm not going to say my real name here. If he's out there, if they're out there, I don't want them knowing who I am. Let's just say this happened 2 years ago, in a sleepy mountain town nestled in the foggy corners of the Pacific Northwest. Our entire town, Elkridge, is smaller than your average high school, around 140 people, tops. Everyone knows everyone. Back then, I was 15, just a kid trying to make some cash before school started again. I worked at a local timber yard about a mile from my house, helping move lumber and load trucks. The job was simple, repetitive, and exhausting, but I liked it. Made me feel strong. That walk to and from work, I could do it blindfolded. Or so I thought. The road I walked each day wound through a forest so thick it looked like it had swallowed the world. Pines stretched like fingers into the sky, blocking out most of the light even during the day. But that night, it was different. It was just after 9:30 p.m. My shift had ended late, and the moon had just started to push through the fog rolling in over the hills. No houses, no cars, just a narrow road surrounded by walls of trees, their branches knitting together above like a ceiling. The crickets were loud, and the frogs by the ditch croaked like they were arguing. I'd walked that road hundreds of times before. I knew every dip, crack, and tree stump. But that night, halfway home, something made me pause. I'd had my earbuds in, as always, music blasting to drown out the forest noise. Then, I heard it. A cackle, high-pitched, broken, like a balloon animal screaming. I stopped in my tracks, yanked the earbuds out. Was that in the song? I whispered to myself. The The sounds of frogs and insects flooded back in, but that laugh didn't return. I stood still, eyes scanning the dark trees, heart trying to climb out of my chest. After a long minute of nothing, I shook it off. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe it was a weird glitch in the song. I kept walking, but I couldn't stop looking over my shoulder after that. The next day it was bright and uneventful. I left for work around 1:15 p.m., kicking rocks along the fresh pavement like I always did. I sent one bouncing down the hill, and it landed near something red and oddly shiny sticking out from the grass. I bent down and picked it up. A clown nose. Soft, squishy, it squeaked when I pressed it. I actually laughed, took it to the yard, showed the guys, even popped it on my nose and gave it a few honks for laughs. But in the back of my head, I felt off. Like it wasn't just trash someone dropped. Like someone had left it there. On purpose. Night fell again, and like clockwork, I clocked out at 9:30. Only this time, I'd forgotten my earbuds. So my walk home was filled with nothing but my own footsteps and the wind whispering through the trees like it had secrets it wanted to share. That's when I saw it, maybe 150 yards ahead. A shape in the middle of the road, perfectly still. Looked like a deer at first. The fog made it hard to see. It was hunched, silhouetted in the moonlight, not moving a muscle. I slowed down, watched it closely. As I got within about 100 yards, it jerked and then bolted into the woods with inhuman speed. Not going to lie, it startled me, but deer are weird sometimes. I brushed it off, kept walking. But just as I passed the spot where it had disappeared into the trees, I heard footsteps behind me. Slow, deliberate ones. Crunch. 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 I froze. I hadn't seen anyone else on the road. I never saw anyone on that road. I turned, and there he was. A clown, in the middle of the street, 20 yards behind me. Hands behind his back, baggy pants, oversized shirt, both filthy, streaked with brown and dark green grime. His makeup looked like it had been melted off, mascara running down his cheeks like tears. His eyes were sunken black pits. He tilted his head like a curious bird. "You've got something of mine," he said. His voice was raspy, playful, and wrong. I took a shaky step back. I don't think so," I managed. "I don't have anything of yours." He giggled. "Then I guess I'll need your nose instead." That's when he pulled something from behind his back. A blade, maybe a machete, or something worse. I didn't wait to get a better look. I ran. I heard his feet slap the pavement behind me. Bare feet, quick, sticky, unnatural. The blade scraped against the asphalt with a hiss, like metal teeth on bone. He was gaining. I could hear him giggling, louder and louder, like he was getting off on the chase. I sprinted up the hill, lungs burning, legs screaming. I didn't dare look back. I could feel him just inches behind me, like his breath was warming the back of my neck. Then, headlights. A truck crested the hill, beaming down on me. I waved my arms like a lunatic, screaming. The truck slowed, tires screeching. I turned around. Nothing. No clown. Just the road, the fog, and the trees. The driver jumped out. He was in his 60s, flannel shirt, completely freaked out. I told him everything. He called the sheriff right there, kept his lights on until they arrived. But there was no sign of anyone. No footprints, no weapon, no clown. But I know what I saw, what I heard, what chased me. Over the next few weeks, rumors spread like wildfire. Other kids started whispering about clowns seen at the edge of the forest, red balloons tied to trees. Someone even claimed they found a full clown costume nailed to a tree, the fabric soaked in something that wasn't mud. Then there were disappearances. One kid, a sophomore, vanished while jogging before sunset. His earbuds were found by the roadside. A week later, another boy's bike was found by the creek. No sign of him, no signs of a struggle. But the creek was covered in tiny plastic clown noses, at least a dozen. The town never made a statement, but curfews were quietly enforced. The forest trail was temporarily closed for maintenance. Patrols started happening at night. We all knew, but no one wanted to say it out loud, like it would make it more real. I moved away the next year. Couldn't take it anymore. Couldn't sleep without seeing that face at the end of my bed. Couldn't walk outside at dusk without hearing giggling in the trees. And now, I've started seeing news articles pop up from other places, other small towns, other forests, other clowns. Different names, different details, but always the same chilling signature. The red nose, the FOD, the laughter, and the chase. Some think it's a sick prank group. Others say it's something supernatural, something ancient wearing a clown skin, hunting in places no one looks anymore. All I know is this: if you ever find a red clown nose lying by the road, don't touch it, don't laugh, don't take it home, because someone, something, will come looking for it. And if you don't give it back, they'll take yours. Still think clowns are just harmless entertainers? These twisted tales prove otherwise. If your heart's still racing, you're not alone. Share your thoughts or clown sightings in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because the next scream could be yours. Stay safe and stay out of the woods.